Am I the idiot for storming out a restaurant and putting my friends in an awkward position? I need to start off by saying that I, male 19, have mild autism and I was homeschooled. I have trouble navigating social situations, though I think I've gotten better since coming to college, which makes me think I might be in the wrong here. Since coming to college, I have got a group of friends and it's been fun, except they insist that I'm in love with our new friend Mark, 20M. He joined our group about a month ago. Me and Mark have a lot of things in common, so we bonded quickly. Because of that, our other friends said that we are in love and made for each other. It was a good laugh until they kept repeating it. They kept making claims that made it sound like I had feelings for him, and it got super weird. For instance, one day we were hanging out in Mark's dorm and I left when an emergency came up. In my rush I left my charger. It got returned to me, but the others claimed I left it on purpose so I could leave a piece of me with him. Another time I was eating spaghetti, and some of them said I was practicing to eat Mark's ass. Comments like this occur about 6 or 7 times a day. I have no idea where it's coming from. I'm not even gay. A week ago, I asked Mark if he was as uncomfortable with it as I am. He didn't know they said those things because they never said it to him. It's only been to me, why. I sent a message to our group chat. Guys, the comments you make about me and Mark are really making me uncomfortable. Especially since I found out they've only been directed at me. Please stop. I don't find them funny or amusing. They apologized and said they wouldn't do it again. Friday, 6 of us, excluding Mark, went to dinner together. While we were waiting to order, Jada, female 19, asked if I wanted to date Mark. I told her no and to drop that stuff since it makes me uncomfortable. She asked why I was so uncomfortable if it's not true. I told her that's exactly why. It's not true, but they keep talking like it is. She said it is true, and she knows it's true. I could feel myself getting angry and didn't want to melt down, so I just left. Walked out and drove back to my dorm. I texted the group chat that I did not wish to be around Jada given what happened. Jada got mad and said I was letting a guy ruin our friendship. And I didn't know how to take a joke. I've ignored her messages and calls. All of our friends side with me, but a few of them said it was putting them in an awkward position and I should let it go. I already stated that I'm not the best with social interactions, so I'm thinking maybe I am an idiot. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. And you handled it very maturely. You brought it up to the group first. You made your feelings clear. When someone violated that boundary, you removed yourself rather than cause a scene in front of everyone. You have set a firmer boundary that you do not want to be around someone who is clearly ignoring the first boundary. If Jada is having issues, it is because of her own actions. Comment 2. Not the idiot. You're being bullied by your so-called friends who I believe aren't really friends if they keep doing that stuff. Or if it's just Jada doing it now, for the update. There were a lot of comments. I didn't respond to all of them, but I did read most and think about the situation. First thing I did was talk to Mark. He assured me that my behavior never seemed flirtatious or inappropriate. I told him that I was gonna cut off the rest of them. He told me he would do the same, but I told him not to. I appreciate the support, but I'm the one having the issue. I didn't speak to anyone from that group except for Mark for a couple weeks. I've been meeting new people and it's going fine. Then a few days later, some came by my room and wanted to talk to me. To my surprise, it was the 4 people, Chris, Emma, Ty, and Micah, who I wasn't as close with as the others. We started talking and the first thing they did was apologize for the situation and for making me uncomfortable. I asked them one of my biggest things I was curious about: why were the comments directed at only me? Here's what I learned. Jada told them she talked to me and they could make comments to me and I would be okay with it, but said she talked to Mark and he said he would be uncomfortable. I didn't believe this until they showed me the messages. I never told Jada this and I doubt she talked to Mark, so she lied, and that's when it started. I was still confused on why she would make them in the first place. Ty, Micah, and Chris didn't know, but Emma showed me her messages with Jada. To the person who asked if Jada has a crush on Mark, you are incorrect. Jada has a crush on me. For the past 4 months. Even though I'm not the best socially, once I saw the messages, I'm pretty sure she was jealous of Mark and was trying to make me uncomfortable around him. The other 3 saw the messages and thought the same thing. So she was jealous. Nobody aside from Emma knew this though. They just joined in because they thought it would be funny. I asked why am I being uncomfortable with a joke or funny? They didn't have a response. I told them what a lot of people told me in the replies, how it was bullying and homophobic to make such remarks and disguising them as jokes is just an excuse. I acknowledged that I should have said something sooner, but it also should have never gotten to that point. They again apologized and asked if I could forgive them. Truthfully, I have already gotten past the situation and moved on. Ultimately, I did decide to give these 4 a second chance. The fact they came to talk, apologize, explain, and weren't on the defensive or dismissive when I was explaining how I felt or what made them wrong, I think that's a good sign. It will take a bit longer to fully regain my trust, but haven't had any issues since then. Edit. I talked to my parents about the situation and they were confused about some things, so I thought maybe I should clarify here as well. When I said a few weeks, I meant about 18 or 19 days. Which is still a long time, but it wasn't almost a month later. Maybe I should have specified that in the update. There's a few reasons it took them some time though. 1. I was actively avoiding/ignoring the group. 2. My dad said the 4 of them probably didn't notice at first. Like I said, I wasn't as close with them as the others, and counting me and Mark, the group had 16 people. My dad said it probably took them a while to realize I wasn't hanging around them at all. 3. I started summer school. That has taken up most of my time and focus. It's also why its update is late when it occurred like a week ago. I forgot about it. Some of you guys said to be wary of Emma. My mom actually advised the same thing. Like I said, they are slowly building my trust back, but it takes time. It will take more time with her. Lastly, I want to thank everyone who gave their input on the situation. I was honestly really close to blowing up several times, but like I said, I'm trying to manage them better. I tried to follow the example my grandfather set. My parents, and some people who messaged me, asked if I forgive too easily. I honestly don't know. But I believe in second chances. Comment 1. Wow, I did not expect that plot twist. Obviously I'm not pro-jealous scheming, but hers was just really dumb. Let me get closer to this guy by constantly telling him I think he's gay and that he should be with our other friend. Glad those people had the balls to tell you what happened and apologize. I would be wary of Emma just because she knew everything and still went along with it until it got out of control, but glad that you had people who were able to reflect and own their poor choices. Good for you for getting the idiots out of your life. Comment 2. YTA. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually side with Jada here. You overreacted by storming out of the restaurant and putting your friends in an awkward position. They were just joking around, and you should learn to take a joke. Your lack of social skills and inability to understand humor is not an excuse for your behavior. You should apologize to Jada and your friends for your overreaction. Now, for the next story. And stay tuned because the original poster was very active when answering questions. AITA for telling my SIL why I've missed her wedding ceremony and therefore ruining her wedding evening. Hi 24F, have a brother who is getting married to Victoria, 25F. Vic and I have a very good relationship. Last year, my brother proposed. Vic took the lead for all the wedding preparation because she is taking a gap year between jobs. My brother easily supported both of them and the wedding. So whenever we have questions about the wedding, she is the person we need to talk to. Important background info. I'm allergic to nuts and coconuts. I don't need an EpiPen, but I have massive diarrhea. Last time I had a reaction, I was so dehydrated I needed to go to the hospital. For the wedding day, we have a caterer planned for an only family brunch, then it's the ceremony, and then we have a celebration with all the guests. So for the meals at the wedding, I texted 2 months in advance to Vic to ask if I would be able to eat, and told her my specific food allergies, in case she forgot. I told that if not, I would be able to bring my lunch and eat amongst everyone without any problem. It's something I do sometimes at big family gatherings, because I don't expect everyone to be extra careful every time for me. Vic told me that everything should be fine. 4 days before the wedding, I texted again to be sure, and she said that the menu does not contain any of my allergens. Wedding day, on the family brunch, I started to feel bad in my tummy. I privately asked the chef if anything contained any nut/coconut, and hold and behold, the sauce for the egg contained coconut. I excused myself and went back home, 20 minutes away from the venue. After this, well, you can imagine the toilet became my best friend. I spent the next 5 hours on the toilet. I texted my brother to excuse myself, that I won't be able to come to the ceremony and I would try to come to the celebration. So around 8 hours after the brunch, I was able to go back to the celebration. I gave my wedding toast to my brother and after, Vic came to me and asked why I was absent from the ceremony. I told her that the brunch did contain coconut, and I spent the whole day on the toilet. I'm glad I was able to come back to the ceremony, and did not need to go to the hospital. She then left back to my brother, and spent the rest of the evening talking to guests. Next day, I've received many texts from my brother, saying I was an SSH to told her during her wedding day that she was responsible of me being sick and that I should have told her some lies to make her happy. He told me she cried the whole wedding night about this. Since then, I've received texts from family members, friends, bridesmaids, who called me an *SS for ruining her wedding night. I'm starting to believe was an *SS and should have said to her a false reason explaining my absence during the ceremony because it ruined her evening. So, Ida? Should I have lied to her? Now for a few comments before the update. It was important to let her know the truth. If she had caterers who promised not to use an ingredient, and then they did. She needs to figure out why this happened and maybe get something credited back. Someone could have died. Her emotions were aimed at the wrong person. NTA. Then the original poster responded with, "This is a really good point. Right now, Asael and my brother are in low contact with me, but it is something I'm going to investigate further." Comment 2. NTA. Her reaction is not your responsibility, unless you told her directly, or passively, that it was her fault. Then the original poster responded with, "She may easily blame herself for it, because she was the one organizing the whole event and therefore chose the menu. But I didn't say explicitly that it was her fault or her mistake." Now for the update. 4 to 5 days after the wedding and the Reddit post, after all of those comments and reflections, I've texted my Asael. I said that I was sorry that everything happened the way it did. But I was not wrong to tell her the truth, and this whole situation could have been very dangerous. I did my part by asking her about the allergies, and even with that a reaction happened, but I do feel sad that she passed a bad night indirectly because of me. Victoria called me after my text and said she understood my situation and the fact it could have been very dangerous. She assured me she called and emailed the caterer informing them of all the allergies and food requirements. She said then that a part of her is mad at me because she thinks I should have told her the next day, but it's on her to work on that and to process those feelings. When she came back from her honeymoon, we investigated this. After many calls, we found the problem. The caterer has 2 sub-teams. The main one, supper, was the one Victoria informed about the food requirements. It was their responsibility to inform the morning team about it. It's actually impossible to contact the morning team directly. All the administration is on the main/supper team. One of the workers of the morning team sent us their email stating all the food requirements, and surprise, surprise, the coconut was absent. So the lady in the main team whom Victoria was working with miswrote the email and forgot to state about the coconut to the morning team. Plus, coconut is not considered a common allergen, so it is rarely written on the menu pamphlet. The catering, to excuse themselves, reimbursed the whole bill for the morning and supper. It was a very fancy catering business, so the bill was quite high. They even gave an additional sum for me, at the condition we don't sue. Victoria left me with the choice. And I chose to take the money. I know there is a possibility to get more if we sued, but in the end, no one died and I didn't want to go through a whole suing process. Plus, this whole situation could have been avoided if I went to the chef beforehand, so in court that would have played against us. My brother and Vic did a whole post on their wedding Facebook group about this situation. They said that the incident was not their fault, nor mine, but the catering business who took responsibility for their action. After it, many of the family members who wrote insults excused themselves about their comments. My brother is still bitter about this situation and still thinks I could have simply waited a day before telling the bride about the incident. But Vic and I are closer now than we were. So this is a happy ending. And I can only wish the catering will learn their lesson and create a better system for allergies. And for now, I will always double check with the catering business on next weddings. Comment 1. As many people have pointed out in the original post, your brother needs to be thankful that his wedding didn't end with a funeral. Vic sounds way more mature than him. I'm sure you know that some forms of allergy can lead to an intensifying reaction with every exposure to the allergens. I'm also guessing you were on the toilet alone, and could have dehydrated and gone into cardiac arrest from lack of electrolytes with no one around to help. Your brother needs to get over himself and appreciate still having a sister. Then the original poster responded with, Vic was very mature and thoughtful in this whole situation after. She took my defense early on when she learned all the comments I had from my family. But yeah, my brother doesn't let things go easily. I think the bride and the groom should not have any negativity during their wedding, and because the situation was done and no one was hurt or dead, she didn't need to know right away. My mother is actually on my side and thinks he is acting like a child, because he is still giving me cold shoulders. Work in progress. Comment 2. It's wild to me that Vic was more concerned about you and understood her feelings were irrational more than your own brother, but I'm glad you both got to the bottom of it and got repaid for your troubles. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.